the police should not interfere with the Hindu reaction to what happened at Godhra.
Mr. Pandya was very clearly blaming Modi for the violence. He felt he was responsible and he should be brought to book. That was clear.
This was the real first indication from within the government that there was actually a decision taken. He is indicating that the chief minister of the state was party to a decision where the law and order agencies do not do their work, let Muslims be attacked.
Mr. Pandya wanted to remain anonymous, but news about his evidence leaked out, and he resigned from Mr. Modi's government. Narendra Modi has said he gave categorical and clear-cut instructions to maintain peace and communal harmony at any cost. So was Haren Pandya lying?
Frankly, I don't know. I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't know exactly what it is. But a chief minister of a state cannot give a blank check to people to run riot.
Last year, India's Supreme Court said Mr. Pandya's claim was false. Its findings were based on an official inquiry which found Mr. Pandya was not at the meeting. The inquiry heard that others who were there disputed his presence, and records showed his government mobile was several miles away at the time. But some questioned the inquiry's credibility and thoroughness. For most politicians, allegations like this would be devastating. But in the midst of all the criticism, Narendra Modi did something unexpected. He called an election in Gujarat.
This election is all about one man, Narendra Modi. To his supporters, he preaches an extreme form of Hindu nationalism, offering hope and security against Muslim extremists.
We're just after the events of 9/11, which in many ways has legitimised actions against Muslims across the globe. This, at the very least, emboldens what the BJP are doing in Gujraat.
Mr. Modi realized that there was a very strong sentiment of Hindu victimhood, and he decided to harness that electorally.
રામ ભક્તોને રેલવેના ડબ્બામાં સળગાવી દીધા હતા. આ આપણા ગામને ખબર હતી કે જોરથી તો કોઈ ભાઈ સમાચાર મળ્યા હતા. ત્યાર પછી આપણા ગામમાં આપણે કોઈની દુકાન બાળી હતી ભાઈ, આપણે કોઈનું માથું વાળ્યું હતું, આપણે કોઈ બેન બેટીની ઇજ્જત લીધી હતી. તેમ છતાંય આપણા ગુજરાતમાં દુશ્મનો, ગુજરાતના વિરોધીઓ એમ જ કહે છે કે તો ગામે ગામ આગ લાગી હતી. એટલી હદે આપણા ગુજરાતને બદનામ કરી મૂક્યું. એ બધાને જવાબ આપ્યો છે આ ગુજરાત ગૌરવ યાત્રા.
The violence against Muslims became part of the messaging that Narendra Modi used in the election campaign. It is the violence and how he reacted to it that has constructed the persona of Narendra Modi.
ભારત માતા કી વંદે.
दुनिया क्या नहीं क्या पहुंची गई. अक्टूबर में जो आया नहीं.
Narendra Modi doesn't tend to be very media friendly.
You follow what I say?
A little bit, yes. So for him to agree to do a sit-down interview with us felt like a bit of a scoop. He struck me as a very charismatic, very powerful, quite menacing figure.
So you're now coming up to elections. This seems to me to be a state in turmoil. We're seeing repeated violence. We're seeing people living in fear. What has gone wrong with this breakdown in law and order here?
I think you have to correct your information first. The state is very, very peaceful.
So the Muslims who would say that they are still terrified, they are still frightened to go back to their homes, they still feel that the people who murdered their relatives have not been brought to justice, what would you say to them?
I'm not agree with your analysis. I'm not agree with your information. This is absolutely misguided information to you From where you have picked up this type of garbage, I do not know.
Some people have been accusing your government of not doing enough to stop this, of not protecting Muslims even now.
These are also false propaganda made by our opponents, and you are also a captive of this false propaganda.
Can you explain more? Who is perpetuating this false propaganda? The information I'm reporting is taken from what I have seen with my own eyes, both at the times of the riots and now.
Those who are our opponents.
And the independent reports that have already been published into what has happened.
They have no right to talk about the internal matter of any government. I'm very, very clear in my mind. If they have done wrong.
Some would say it is a human right. There is a general international interest.
Please don't try to preach us the human rights. We know what the human rights are. You Britishers should not preach us the human rights.
When you look back over the last month, you've been the leader of this state through a very difficult period. Do you think there's anything that you should have done differently?
Yes. One area where I was very, very weak, and that was how to handle the media.
Ecstatic crowds of BJP supporters started to celebrate the election win before it was official. The architect of victory, Narendra Modi, the controversial Chief Minister of Gujraat.
The more Mr. Modi was attacked, the stronger he became. By simply saying that he was being targeted only because he was standing up for the rights of Hindus.
A new repertoire had taken shape. You polarize, you vote, and you get the majority supporting you.
I just entered a taxi, and suddenly I got a call from a journalist friend of mine, and she said, "Do you know what has happened to Harin Pandya?" She told me that he was killed.
He's found dead in a car under very suspicious circumstances. The entry point of the bullet wound is at the groin. There is no blood lying there where there should have been blood. There is no way from the position he was in that he could have been killed sitting in the car. Evidence suggests he was killed elsewhere, his body put in the car and placed there.
The death of Harin Pandya is a mystery, well-kept mystery probably. There is, to my knowledge, no serious investigation.
The murder of Harin Pandya remains one of the big mysteries even today. Mr. Pandya was killed in a murder which has really not been answered yet.
12 men were jailed in connection with his murder, but this verdict was overturned, the court blaming a botched investigation.
All accused in the Harin Pandya murder case have been acquitted. Harin Pandya was the former Home Minister, you might remember, of Gujraat.
In 2019, India's Supreme Court upheld the original verdict. But even some in Mr. Modi's own party have doubts about the investigation into Mr. Pandya's death.
I knew him personally. I think the killing of Mr. Pandya was tragic and suspicious. And the circumstances explained to me don't make me believe in it. I'd like to know who organized it so well. It is not just a stray killer or somebody taking revenge. But it is well organized. I don't think it has been properly investigated.
He was killed by terrorists who wanted to kill him so that the blame could be apportioned to Narendra Modi. The investigation was thorough. It went into every stage of the Indian judicial process and culminated in a Supreme Court judgment.